She was humiliated, called a liar, and slapped across the face just for sitting in first class while black. But the flight attendant, who thought she held all the power, was about to learn a brutal lesson, because the woman she tried to degrade wasn't just any passenger. She owned the entire airline. Naomi Williams didn't need a tailored suit to command a room. She didn't need to flaunt her status or remind people who she was. She only needed her calm conviction, something no amount of prejudice could ever strip away. That afternoon, she boarded her own plane in a navy blazer and slacks, carrying nothing but a leather bag and a quiet strength. She'd built her success brick by brick, from her first business loan to a fleet of private jets bearing her name. But as she stepped past the threshold of the cabin, none of that mattered to Lauren. Lauren Reed, the lead flight attendant, sized Naomi up with a single dismissive glance. A black woman in a simple outfit. Not worth her courtesy, not worth her respect. Naomi settled into her seat without comment. She'd learned long ago that the most arrogant people often told on themselves if you simply let them talk. Lauren didn't disappoint. "You're in the wrong section," she said, voice dripping with condescension. Naomi met her gaze, serene. "No, this is my seat." A thin smirk twisted across Lauren's face. "First class is for our elite passengers. You'll need to move." Passengers nearby shifted, suddenly invested. A woman in pearls leaned closer, eyes bright with anticipation of a scene. The businessman across the aisle frowned, sensing something uglier than a seating mix-up. "I won't be moving," Naomi said evenly. Lauren folded her arms, enjoying the spotlight. "I'm going to ask you one last time. Move to the back of the plane." Naomi tilted her head. "Call whoever you need." The tension cracked like a live wire. Lauren gestured sharply to Grace, the junior attendant, who looked stricken. But before Grace could intervene, Naomi slowly reached for her phone. One measured tap. One quiet message sent. Lauren scoffed, too blinded by her own arrogance to sense the ground shifting beneath her feet. "You really think a phone call will change anything?" she sneered. "People like you think you can buy respect." Naomi's eyes flicked up, calm and devastating. "No, I earn respect. But you've just lost it forever." The murmurs grew louder. The businessman across the aisle spoke up, his voice firm. "She has every right to sit here." Lauren snapped her head toward him. "Stay out of this." But her command fell flat. The crowd had already made up their minds. Minutes later, the cockpit door opened. The captain stepped into the cabin, his expression grim. "Miss Williams," he said, voice formal. "We receive your message." Lauren turned, confused. You know her?" Just a blank space. The captain didn't answer her. He faced the passengers, voice steady over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised, we will be making an unscheduled landing. The owner of this airline has requested immediate action." Gasps erupted. The nosy woman clapped a hand over her mouth. The businessman let out a quiet breath, as if confirming what he'd suspected. Lauren's mouth fell open. "Owner?" she whispered, voice cracking. Naomi stood slowly, her calm presence swallowing the room. "I am Naomi Williams," she said. "I own this plane. I own this airline, and I will not tolerate prejudice masquerading as procedure." Lauren staggered back as if struck. I didn't know," she stammered. "That's exactly the problem," Naomi said, her voice like steel wrapped in silk. "You didn't care to know." Two uniformed officers boarded the plane as it taxied to the private hangar. One stepped forward. "Miss Williams, do you wish to press charges?" Naomi didn't blink. "Yes, she assaulted me in front of witnesses." Lauren's composure cracked. Please, I'm sorry." Naomi's eyes were cold, her voice quiet enough that only Lauren heard. "You should have thought of that before you raised your hand." Handcuffs clicked into place, each metallic snap a reminder that cruelty has consequences. The passengers watched in stunned silence as Lauren was led down the aisle she once ruled. Naomi turned to the cabin, her voice soft but unbreakable. "To everyone here, I apologize for what you witnessed. This is not who we are." The cabin erupted in applause, not just for her title, but for her courage. And as Naomi stepped off her plane, she knew this was more than a victory over one woman's arrogance. It was a lesson, a quiet revolution showing the world that dignity can't be stolen by ignorance. What would you do if you were in Naomi's place? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stand with those who refuse to be silenced.